All of us humans have an amazing gift that was given to us by our Creator. This gift is so powerful it can be creative or destructive at the same time. But here's the good news. God in His infinite wisdom also gave us the ability to be able to train this gift so that it works for us and not against us. More to come on that later on in the video. Now let's jump into this project build. For this project, I'm using a 1/4 inch poplar board, which has a dimension of 6 inch by 36 inches long. So I started off by ripping the board into half. I found the center of the board and marked that, and then I'm going to use that as a reference to rip the board. I repeated those steps for another 7 boards. For this project, I only need 14 boards, one of which would be a little bit wider than the remaining 13 boards. And the wider one will be the top board, as you would see at the end of the video. With all of the boards ripped, I then moved on to spraying 6 of them. Spraying the first 3 with a gray chalk paint and the other 3 with a blue chalk paint. And now it was time for the interesting part of the process, which is engraving the boards. Almost all of them are longer than the workspace on the X tool. So the width of the longest boards that I'm engraving are 33 inches. And the total work area for the X tool D1 Pro that I'm using is approximately 16.93 inches by 15.75 inches. So I came up with a setup that provided me with about 1.5 inch clearance between the honeycomb and the side rails of the X tool. As you would notice there, I used some pieces of scrap 2x4 and a 1x material, I think it was a 1x6, and a piece of 1/4 inch plywood. As we get along, I'll explain the mechanism that makes this work. As you can see, I'm able to slide the board across the work surface area. And this is made possible by 4 strong magnets that I have laying on the work surface there. 2 of those magnets are super strong and needs a lot of effort to remove them. And the other 2 are relatively strong, allowing me to be able to move them or reposition them if necessary. Once I have the position set for the next set of words that I'll be engraving, I will position the laser module, do the framing, and then continue engraving the rest of the board. And then I repeat the same process for the remainder of the boards. Just in case you're curious to know why I chose poplar for this project, well, poplar happens to be one of the lightweight wood species, and since this is a project that I will be shipping internationally, I wanted to make sure I chose the lightest wood available, and poplar was the best choice of wood in my area. Once the whole piece of a board has been engraved, I'm able to take that out and then slide in another board in through the guards that I have sitting on the work surface there. And you would notice there that I have support underneath the left half of the board to allow it to slide in easily onto the work area. One thing I must say, which is not quite evident in the shot that I'm doing here, is that you will need some allowance on the right side of the X tool to allow the board to slide out of the right side of the tool. And so we just keep rinsing and repeating the same process to engrave all of the boards. So at this point in the video, I just want to remind you that all you need is just a little faith and some DIY action. So back to the gift from God that I mentioned at the start of the video. The gift I'm referring to is the mind. And as I said, it is a gift that has been given to all of us, and it can work for us or against us depending on how we train it to work for us. And for me, this is one example where I had to use my mind to think beyond what I was seeing with my eyes in order to come up with a way to do this using the tool that I had available at the time. So the lesson for me here was for me to keep my mind on the solution, and that is finding a way to get this done so that I can deliver it to my client. So I just use a mini rechargeable electric duster to blow out any particles left from the engraving. And then I applied a very generous amount of shellac to finish and seal the wood. Now, before I started attaching the boards together, I tried out some spacing using some dowels, and I also tried a 1/2-inch dowel square dowel, which I had made from some leftover 1/2-inch plywood. And the spacing from using the 1/2-inch dowel turned out to be a better fold, and so that's what I went with. So the material that I'm using to attach the board strips together to make them foldable is a heavy cotton webbing material. I happen to have a couple rolls of that from another project, a craft project, so I just use that. They come in this tan color. They come in multiple colors, but I use the tan color because it goes well with the color of the wood. So right now I'm just using my tape measure to find the center so that I can have the webbing material at the center of the board. And at this point I want to apologize for the angle that I shot this process. Even though you can still see what I'm doing, it was not the best angle, and I apologize for that. If you like the video so far, please click on the like button and share it with someone else. Feel free to do that at any time whilst watching the video. Thank you, and I appreciate you. At this point in the video, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video this far. If you're getting some value from it, please like and share it with somebody else. I appreciate you. And if you have not already, click on the subscribe button for more videos like this. And just for extra assurance, I added one more extra staple to each one of the strips. And for the hanger, I'm just using a piece of the webbing material there and doing a simple fold on the back of the top strip that will serve as both the handle and the hanger on the wall. And we are just about to wrap up this video, but before we do, I want to remind you that all you need is just a little bit of faith and some DIY action. And until the next video, I hope you will have a tangible experience of God's love today. And that is it. The project is completed. I used some extra material to make these handles that will be used for carrying it. And don't leave just yet. You might like one of these other videos.